much you bench? I'm glad you asked, because I have done an 854-pound multi-ply bench in the 275-pound weight class. At the time that I nailed that bench press, it was the biggest full power meet bench press in that weight class. I've also done an 815-pound single-ply bench press, and when I did that, that was the biggest bench press in single-ply powerlifting history. I also have recently done a 545-pound bench at 242, which ranks me second in the entire country. So I feel that I have the ability to speak on the bench press. I have enough street cred to tell you that the lats are heavily involved in the bench press, despite what you're hearing on the interwebs. I'll repeat that once again. The lats are heavily involved in the bench press, and we're going to see some examples of that coming up right here. The reason number one why the lats are important in the bench press is because they can help create leverage. The bigger your muscles are, the better your leverages are going to be. It's almost like being fat in the squat. When you have a giant fat stomach, would you sit here and tell me that your stomach is heavily involved in squat? Most people would probably rattle off a bunch of other shit rather than your stomach to tell you how to increase your squat. You can see the lats being involved here. The triceps are falling onto the lats. The forearm is falling onto the bicep, and it's creating a tremendous amount of leverage, allowing me to accelerate through those bench presses. That's 505 pounds for 3 sets of 2, all paused, by the way. But in the squat, if we were just talking about how to increase your squat, you would say, increase the size of your legs, the strength of your legs, increase the hamstrings, get the lower back stronger. No one would really say much about the stomach. A couple guys might say some weighted sit-ups or something like that. But a bigger stomach and or a stronger stomach, Stan Efferding, who has an actually very small waist, who's actually a pro bodybuilder, along with being a ass-kicking powerlifter, actually has kind of a big stomach, and when he powerlifted, he would build that belly up, he'd eat a lot of food, and he would just basically have a really nice, I guess you'd say, like power keg to help him squat. You can see there's another paused bench press. Wearing the 2.0 elbow sleeves from howmuchyoubench.net, which I highly recommend. Those things are amazing. They're great for elbow tendonitis. They're great for anyone who is struggling with elbow pain. However, they are a real bastard. They are super tight, and they will cut off your circulation if you don't get the appropriate size. So I'll tell you right now, get a half size up from whatever even the size chart says, because they are pretty intense. Anyway, back to the matter at hand here. The reason why the size chart is the way it is in case people want a tighter, snugger fit. So we're just trying to do the best we can. But anyway, back to the lats. You can see the lats being involved there with Chris Ramos. But you're going to see some of my guys, they let the weights fall and accelerate, and they don't know exactly when to reverse. That was a pretty good press there, but you saw the hips shoot up. What needs to happen in the bench press, though, is you need to bring those weights down into you. And you need to not only pull the weights down into you with the biceps and the lats, but you really need to squeeze them into you. As I bring my weights down, I like to kind of squeeze them, squeeze those weights into my lats, pull the elbows inward slightly, and then just reverse that action as violently and as fast as I possibly can. You think about Eric Spoto, the greatest bench presser, the greatest raw bench presser of all time, or you could say the heaviest, credited with the heaviest raw bench press of all time. Eric Spoto is only going to slow down in the bench press when his body is exposed and he's losing some leverages. He's actually got a mechanical advantage towards the top of the lift, but that is where many lifters will miss the lift, and it has to do with their body being exposed, their body hanging out in space without it being compressed against another muscle. You can see I'm jacking this 410-pound bench press up like it's my job from the bottom of the bench press here as I'm squeezing my lats and squeezing my pecs, but my forearm is falling onto my bicep and my tricep is falling onto my lat. I do agree 100% that trying to explain or trying to cue new lifters on how to use their lats when they don't even have lats is fucking retarded. It's just flat out stupid. I admit that. I also admit that leg drive is retarded and stupid. I've never heard of leg drive until after I benched 515 pounds. Somebody said, you need to get your legs under you a little bit better. A 515-pound floor press. Or, I'm sorry, 515-pound raw press. Somebody said, yeah, you need to try to get your legs underneath you a little bit better. So some of the moves that are done by advanced athletes don't always need to be incorporated by some of the newer guys. However, you do need to realize that the lats are heavily involved, as we pointed out earlier in the month on supertraining.tv. Go check out that footage. And that is it from supertraining.tv.